Break down your story first off. How did you guys get to this point? How did you, from your relationship to the point in business? What's the story here?
What it boils down to, I had two best friends growing up from the time I was 2 years old, and they always had like the most beautiful, intricate hairstyles, like box braids and cornrows, and I just thought they were like gorgeous. I wanted to look like them.
Right.
So their mom would actually try and replicate those hairstyles on me. So I have like all these pictures of us as kids. So when I had turned 17, I had just, I was hating the way I felt about myself. I hated the way I looked because I feel like for a lot of people, confidence comes from appearance. Like that's kind of where it starts. And when your hair looked as damaged as mine did, it just sucked. So I bought hair. I messed around for a couple months, made them for myself, put them in, and it was like night and day difference the way I approached life, like the way I talked, the way I presented myself. And then I had a bunch of people coming up and asking me to make them some. I did. In December, I opened an Etsy shop, and then it just kind of blew up from there.
Yeah. What was the big thing that happened, do you think?
I would say 2 or 3 weeks after I quit my job is when our Etsy shop actually got shut down.
So that was a little traumatizing because that's where all of our income was coming from. I mean, we were 3 days till rent was due, and so we were like, okay, well, we can either sit here and cry and, whatever, or we can stand up, go figure out how to do a website. We actually started on ClickFunnels. We opened the website. We were 3 days past rent being due.
Nice.
And the second we launched, we were able to have enough income come in so that we could pay rent.
That fast. That's one thing I think people don't really realize. As almost we don't want it to be the case, our appearance matters.
It does.
It matters. It matters to us and it matters to everybody else. And I know how much we want to, really get on this phase of like, oh, it doesn't matter. It kind of does though. And let's just own that. Let's own the fact that your appearance actually matters to you. And, and honestly, it's just gonna affect how you feel, what you put on your body, like the things you wear says a lot about who you are.
Yep.
That's what we put out to the world is our personality, like the tattoos, or whatever it is. It's what you put out to the world.
I think the reason that there is so much pushback is because of the way they really do empower people. Because anything worth something that has any value to it whatsoever, there's always going to be opposition. Dreadlocks have literally been carried through just about every single culture, and every single culture in one way or another talks about the power of dreadlocks. Obviously, I get a lot of pushback, especially on TikTok, because everyone on there is, social justice warriors, little keyboard warriors, but it's very validating to me knowing that what I'm doing to bring unity between cultures is the right thing when I'm getting pushback.
So walk me through that. Does that kind of have is that kind of the same idea behind Dreadful Hippie of the empowerment and taking, power back in your own life? Is that kind of the thought process there? Or has that always been the goal, or is it taking shape as you've seen this community grow? Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was to satisfy my own desire of having dreadlocks. Little did I know it would make me feel the way that I did. And then other people wanted it, and I was like, okay, well, this is quick money. Like, that's what you think in the beginning of a business. And then it was, oh, look at how it's making people feel. This is something that I can pursue. This is something that's fun. Now we are helping people feel that confidence, feel empowered to be able to make the decisions that they want, to have the life that they want. And that's really what it boils down to. That's where I get the satisfaction from. I don't get satisfaction from orders coming in.
Yeah.
All that means to me is that someone is taking the steps that they need to have the life that they want. And that's what fulfills me. Like, take those steps in order to live the life that they want. Like, that is what's so rewarding for us. And that's all I care about. Like, when I see, like, when my parents got their first order, that was way more exciting to me than like having our highest month in revenue. Yeah. Like, it was so satisfying.
You'll reach people that I never will.
Yeah.
Because who you are is completely different than who I am. Same with you. Right. And so by being you and by being authentic, you stand out in the marketplace naturally.
Yeah.
Which is also the scariest part of it, because you being you and you standing out, putting your face on it, is also when you open yourself up to get attacked more.
When you put your face out there, it's almost has the same effect where it's like, okay, they're standing behind their product. Like, this isn't just some fake scam.
Right.
Or it just gives it a little bit more of validation.
Right.
Like, it's a good, worthy product. Right. We've all seen all the scams that are popping up where people are impersonating other people. Look at the people who are getting impersonated.
Yeah, no, seriously.
It's the people who are putting their faces out there on the internet.
Yeah. Do you ever get accused of cultural appropriation?
All the time.
Okay.
Obviously, there weren't photos back then, but there are accounts of Europeans saying, like, the Norsemen came down and they wore their hair like snakes. So you can interpret that however you want, but that to me sounds like dreadlocks.
Yeah, right.
Or Medusa, like she has her hair like snakes as well. And
Right.
that's in Greek culture. I'm like, you can interpret that how you want, but to me, that sounds like dreadlocks. Some Asian cultures, when they go to battle, they would dreadlock their hair and they would dip the ends in red paint.
If you look at any culture, it seems like Celtic, Norse, or, you go Asia, any other culture, well, dreadlocks and braids is kind of a part of the culture. It always has been.
Words have meaning if
Yeah.
you give them meaning. If you want a word to be offensive to you, you're going to find a way to make it offensive to you.
Absolutely. I can say whatever I want to you. And if you choose not to take offense, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Because I can try to offend, right? Or even if I don't try to offend, I could still offend if you choose to take offense. Giving offense is not necessarily the action. It's the taking of offense is the action, meaning being offended is a choice. Taking offense is literally your choice. So you can have the choice to not be offended. You can have the choice to be offended. And you know what we see? We see a lot of choices to be offended by a lot of crazy things at this point.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, dreads and our hairstyles are the only thing that can unite the human race.
So, wait. The dread, like our hairstyles can
Yeah.
unite the race. What do you mean by that?
Think about it. So like your hair, for example, you have like the faux hawk. That's an extremely popular hairstyle.
Yeah, right.
But you're not South American. So it's like, at the end of the day, my long hair is the same, like anyone who grows their hair out. Like you can be Hispanic and have dreads. You can be black and have dreads. You can be white and have dreads. The common thing is we all have dreads. So it's like the people who are always saying like, oh, you're cultural appropriating this culture and this culture. It's like, well, I don't know what else to tell you, but like, we're all united.
This is a fallen world. This is a mean and nasty place we live in. And just based on the existence that there is evil in this world means that the unity we're fighting for is to unite the good.
This world is for the people who are on the fence
Right.
to figure out what it is that they want.
Right.
I mean, if we came down here and it was all peaceful and, there would be like, it completely destroys the whole plan of why we were supposed to be here.
And like, if you really dive deep into that, what that means is that he separated the light from the dark. Meaning there was a separation, not even just in elements of light and dark, in good and evil. There was a separation of a line drawn of what's right versus what's wrong. That is what that means. And if you really break that down, that means the entire purpose of this planet, the entire purpose of our existence is to fight for good, to push through pain, to push through fears, to grow. Because the way this world is built is that if you push through pain, if you push through fear, if you push through the evil, you will grow. The pain that you've gone through to get to this point is a almost gauntlet that almost people have to pass through in order to get there. Because how many people have had an idea similar to yours and have then experienced the pain that you've experienced and then turned back?
If my parents just handed me over this business, like let's say my parents were the creators of Dreadful Hippie, it's been around forever, and they were just like, hey, like, because you were born, here's your birthright.
Yeah.
Like, it would tank.
Yeah.
There's no way it would survive past me.
Yeah.
But because I've had to work for it, therefore it has value.
Yes.
Nothing that was ever given to anyone is ever worth value.
Right. For rent is the most stressful, the most difficult thing anyone could ever experience. Not like having the conversation of how are we going to budget our money for food and to live.
There were days literally we would use the last money on like some tacos at Taco Bell, and then the next day we would go drive down to my parents to eat the next day. Like, I'm not kidding.
Like, if you want to talk about that, dude, there were days that it sucked. And that was the first 3 months of our marriage. It's like, is this what it's supposed to be like? Is this marriage?
Obviously we were stressed at the time, but it never like affected our marriage at all.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why, and I'm not saying that you guys didn't marry for this reason, but I think the reason, like, I didn't marry him for money.
Yeah.
We didn't have money before we got married. I knew what I was getting into going into it.
Right.
And two, the only thing that matters to me is spending time with him. As long as I was with him, I was good. It was when I was by myself, that's when I would get super stressed out.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, I could be dirt poor, and we were, and less than poor.
Yeah.
And I was happy as long as we were together.
When people see like awards like this, right? $50 million in sales, right? Or like 7-figure awards, or like producing a business where you have 30 employees, right? They see this, they go, damn, right? They go, damn, like, how'd you do that? You want to know the best answer? A lot of tears.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Do you have any idea how many tears were shed in the journey to get to this point? And that's why I love these conversations on the podcast. And that's why I love the one question I ask everybody is, what's your story? Because if you've done something incredible, if you've accomplished something, you know what it was? It wasn't a sunshine and rainbow opportunity. It wasn't this perfect trajectory of path that just got us here. Well, actually, it was a simple decision to do this, and it was actually really easy. No, it fucking sucks.
The best thing that you could do is for yourself is learn to be an entrepreneur in some sort, or figure out some kind of sales job.
Entrepreneurs are salesmen, and like you're in sales if you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? If you're in sales, that means you're also in an entrepreneurship setting where you reap what you sow, you eat what you kill, so to speak, right?
Like you want to be a better husband, a better father, learn sales.
Oh yeah.
Learn to negotiate, to persuade, to do good.
It's right.
You know?
Right.
Don't learn it to do evil in this world.
Yeah. Don't persuade your wife. You know what?